right, happy Friday, ladies. Nice to see names and some faces. We got Pilates in our small space today, which is okay because it allows me to keep my mask off so you guys can see what I'm saying and hear what I'm saying. We're gonna start with our feet right underneath our hips. Let's start standing. We're gonna take a few deep breaths in and out, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Settle your weight right over the front of those ankle joints, right where your shoelaces would be, if you were wearing sneakers right now. Hold it there. Let's take our hands to the outsides of the lower part of our rib cage. We're gonna keep our fingers spread a bit apart, and we're gonna angle our fingertips down so they funnel down toward that belly button. Keeping the hands right resting on that rib cage. Let's take another big breath in through the nose. Feel those ribs open up to the sides. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the belly back and let those fingertips come toward each other. Those ribs are gonna funnel in toward the middle of your body. Again, big breath in. Ribs open up, exhale, let them funnel in toward the center of the body as that belly draws back. One last time, big breath in through the nose, exhale. With that belly drawn in, we're gonna take our feet a bit apart from each other, point those toes out slightly to the side, and we'll take our hands down by our sides and roll those shoulders back. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's inhale, take those arms up and overhead. We're gonna make a nice Y or a high V with our arms. I apologize that my fingertips are cut off there. At least you can see my body here. The belly stays drawn back. We're gonna soften our knees up just a touch, and moving from right above that belly button, let's take our bodies and tip sideways. We're gonna reach our fingertips up to where the corner of the wall of the ceiling meets. Inhale, arms up to the ceiling, and let's exhale over to the other side. One more time to each. Inhale up, exhale, side bend. Feel that stretch along the opposite side that you're moving away from. Maybe now we take that other hand and reach it down toward our leg. We can also reach it toward the opposite heel if we want to intensify that stretch. Let's take a big breath in, bringing those arms up to that Y or high V position. And as we exhale, we'll side bend the other way. Again, adding, if you'd like, by dropping that hand to your side or stretching it to that opposite heel. Feel that opposite side of the body open up. We'll take an inhale, bring those arms to the ceiling, straighten the knees. We're gonna bring our arms out on a T with the palms facing that screen, and then moving the feet in a little bit closer together. Let's move our arms in circles. We're gonna draw some circles on the walls out to either sides of our fingers. Circle for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch and go the other direction. Let's circle forward for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring those arms down, roll those shoulders back a couple more times, and we're gonna move to one of the edges of our mat, facing lengthwise now along that mat. We're gonna try to stand up nice and tall with those feet lined up with our shoulders. The hands are gonna come right to the folds in the hips, and drawing the belly and the spine gently toward each other. Let's hinge from our hips and tip that body forward. We're gonna tip forward till we feel that first little bit of resistance behind our thighs. Maybe there's a little stretch from those sit bones all the way down to the backs of the knees. If you feel anything in your back, draw the belly up a little further, and maybe even consider taking yourself to a little bit different of an angle so that crown of the head points up a little closer to the ceiling versus forward to the wall in front. Hold it there. We're gonna drop those fingertips down to the floor. Those arms are gonna be vertical. Keeping the belly nice and still, let's do some rows. We're gonna keep those knees nice and bent. Let's squeeze our blades, bring those shoulder blades up toward our bodies, and then we'll lower our blades to the floor. Squeeze, bring the blades together. Reach the fingertips to the floor. Let the blades drop as well. 2 more times. Squeeze, release. Last one. Squeeze those blades. Hold them there. Straighten your elbows. Press those fingertips to the wall behind us. We're getting into the triceps on the backs of the arms. Bend the elbows. Forearms face the floor. Press them straight. Bend the elbows. Last 2. Press the elbows straight. Bend them down. Last one. Press and hold for 3. For 2, and for 1. Let's bring our hands toward the floor. We're gonna soften up our knees and make our way down to hands and knees. Holding here on the floor, we'll set ourselves up for a little warm up for the pelvis and low back with our hands and knees on the mat. Let's curl the belly button up toward the ceiling, looking down toward our thighs, curl to a cat. And then keeping the belly drawn up, we're gonna reverse and curl to cow. Curl to cat, look toward those thighs, reverse, let's go the other direction. One more time, curl to cat, reverse to cow. Take it right back to neutral, wag your tail side to side. Take that hip closest to the screen and fold it towards your shoulder, and then switch it up, fold it the other direction. Take them side to side. Hips go toward the screen for 4. Switch for 3. Switch for 2. And switch for 1. Let's take it right back to the middle. We're going to turn and make our way onto our backs. We'll lie down on the floor. Back of the head is going to rest on that mat as we nod our chin gently down toward the neck. The back of the neck is going to rest down into the floor, and let's bend up those knees, lining our heels up with our sit bones. Knees, feet, and hips are equal distance apart from each other. From here, let's take another big breath in and exhale. Draw that belly to the spine as if you're tightening a little seatbelt of muscles between those two hip bones that are pointed directly to the ceiling. We're going to picture a clock face on the trunk and pelvis now. 12 o'clock is up toward the breastbone, 6 o'clock down toward that pubic bone. 3 and 9 are on either side. From here, let's rock that pelvis toward 12 o'clock, taking that pubic bone, and shortening it up toward that breastbone. That allows the low back to flatten somewhat into the floor. And then let's reverse that. Lengthen that pubic bone down away from that breastbone, allowing your low back potentially to come up a little bit from the floor. Find a range that's comfortable, and then keeping that chin knotted and those shoulder blades pressed into the floor, we're going to rock that pelvis from 12 to 6. Everybody's 12 to 6 excursion might be a little bit different. It's going to depend on how the mobility is throughout your spine. If you're a little stiff anywhere along, you might have a little bit of restriction in movement. That's okay. We move with what we have. Tilt and release for 4, 12 to 6. There's 3. 2 more times. Shorten and lengthen. Last one. Pubic bone to the breastbone. Pubic bone lengthens away. Let's come right back to neutral. We're going to keep a little activity in those navel muscles. Draw them down, and let's rock that pelvis side to side. 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Rotate the pelvis toward the screen. One hip drops down as the other rotates toward the ceiling. Reverse it. Swivel that pelvis the other direction, belly button toward the opposite wall. Rotate to 3, rotate to 9. You will feel the backs of your legs and your feet working a little bit to keep those legs still as the pelvis rocks. 4, here's 3, here's 2, and 1. Let's take that pelvis right back to neutral, big breath in. As we exhale, let's keep that belly drawn in. We're gonna bring one knee up to 90 degrees, and that other knee up to meet it in tabletop position. We could flatten that low back gently into the mat and drop the belly down toward the spine a little further. If you do need a little bit more assistance for those abdominals, you are welcome to bring one foot down to the mat for a little kickstand. We're going to keep those knees up where they can be, comfortably held with a little bit of effort through those abs, and we're going to take our hands to the front of our thighs. Let's build a little bit of pressure, pressing the hands and the thighs toward each other, matching each other's resistance. If you press down to the thighs and then gently arc that pressure up toward the ceiling, that should shift the focus of where you feel working slightly lower toward that pubic bone. Big breath in, big breath out. We could progress this and challenge that stability by straightening, bending our knees a bit. Straighten, bringing those feet to the ceiling, bend them back to tabletop. Twice more, straighten and bend. Last one, straighten, bend those knees again. Now we're gonna switch our grip, our pressure. We're going to take our hands to the outsides of the thighs with those shoulder blades drawn down and that belly drawn down. Let's press our knees and our hands toward each other. You'll feel a little bit of work through those shoulder blade muscles and maybe a little bit of work to the outsides of the thighs. We're going to hold here. Big breath in, big breath out. Belly draws in. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Let's switch our grip again. We're going to take our hands to our inner thighs, right on the insides of the knees. Again, press the hands and the knees toward each other, this time feeling those inner thighs working. And this may draw that core in a little bit more. You might feel a little more effort right above that pubic bone. Inhale and exhale. One last time, big breath in. As we exhale, we draw the chin down a little closer to the neck. Let's take our hands off of our legs. We're going to hover them forward to either side of the thighs, reaching them toward the wall in front of us. Draw that belly down. We could nod the chin, maybe even lifting the head and curling up a bit off the floor. And let's pat those hands up and down like we're bouncing some little tiny basketballs. We'll inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Do you find a pattern that's working for you, a speed that's working for you? Take some deep breaths in and out. Maybe we challenge it further by straightening those legs up to the ceiling. Breathe it in. 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Feel free to keep those knees bent. Feel free to take one or both feet down if your trunk needs a bit more support. And that head could be lifted or lowered. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Let's flip our palms over. We're going to press that air to the ceiling. Inhaling. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, big breath in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Let's pause where we are. We're going to keep those palms facing the ceiling. Let's bring our knees back to that tabletop position, and we'll curl that upper body down if it's been lifted. From here, let's reach our arms up to the ceiling. Those palms are going to face in toward each other, and elbows are straight but relaxed. Nod the chin down toward the neck and decide if you need a little kickstand back on the floor. Again, we'll reset that belly to spine, and let's reach our shoulder blades up to the ceiling, down to the mat. Up to the ceiling, down to the mat. We're trying to keep everything else as still as possible as those shoulder blades do the movement. Reach them forward, lower them to the floor. Last 4, 3, reach and lower. Last 2, and last 1. Reach those fingertips to the ceiling, draw them to the floor. We're going to take one heel down to the mat, take the other heel down to the mat, and let's stretch those arms back overhead far as we can. Reach the fingertips behind you, reach them toward the wall, drop that breastbone to the floor and feel that mid-back contact the floor right between those shoulder blades. Big breath in. Exhaling, let's take those arms up to the ceiling. We're going to pull the knee farthest from the screen into the chest. Give it a little hug with the hands. Hold it right there. Draw the belly down. And we're going to slide that right leg out along the floor. Hold it there. Tighten up the front of that thigh. Feel that inner thigh stretch just a tiny bit, potentially, if that foot's rotated outward. And we're going to feel a little stretch in that hip flexor. Hold it there. Roll those shoulders back and down, pressing the blades into the floor. And let's lift that straight leg up just a couple inches from the mat. Hold it there, stretch the toes as far away from the head as you can get them. And we're going to take that straight leg side to side. Draw some horizontal lines on that wall in front of you. Good, side to side. Let's make some circles. Reach those toes forward to the wall. Maybe we nod the chin, lifting the head and upper body a bit. Let's circle the other way. Reach the toes to the wall for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to slowly stretch that leg forward. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, switch them up. That knee pulls into the chest. Opposite leg straightens out. Reach the foot to the wall in front of you. Lower that heel to the floor. And we'll curl that upper body down if it's been lifted, relaxing into the top of the thigh stretch for that opposite leg. Hold it there. If we rotate that straight leg out to the side just a touch, we might feel that inner thigh stretching a little bit. We'll also feel that hip flexor stretching a bit, which we might get a little bit more intensity in that if we tuck that pelvis to 12 o'clock. Hold it there. Tighten up the front of that straight leg thigh. Hover that heel up off the floor. And if you'd like to nod the chin and lift the head again, we can. And we'll take that leg side to side. Draw that line on the wall in front of you. Take it side to side. Let's move it in circles. Keep the movement in that hip joint with the rest of the body staying as still as possible. 2 more this direction. Pause, taking an inhale, and we'll breathe it out. Circle the other way. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stretch that leg forward. Let's speed up our motions. We're going to pull that knee into the chest, press the opposite leg forward, reverse, pull, and press. Keep it moving, head is up or down. And that leg could always extend a little bit closer toward the ceiling versus down toward the floor as we switch them. If you need to take a little bit of pressure off of that back and those abdominals, let's switch them up. Pull and press for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees pull into the chest. Let's bring that upper body down. If it's been lifted, maintaining that chin nod, we're going to look side to side, releasing the neck. One more time to each as we take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let's come right back to the middle, keeping that little chin nod. And we're going to slide that leg closest to the screen all the way out along the mat again. Hang on behind the other thigh. We'll stretch that leg up to the ceiling, moving into our hamstring. You want to feel the majority of the stretch from your sit bone down to that knee. We could add on to this by flexing and pointing through that ankle joint, getting a little bit of more work to that connective tissue. We're letting all those vessels, all those muscles slide within that connective tissue. Point those toes to the ceiling, and we're going to take that belly and draw it down, and arms come up to the ceiling. Anchor those shoulder blades to the floor and picture the back of the pelvis making nice, strong contact with the mat as well. We're going to take that lifted leg side to side. Draw that horizontal line on the ceiling, keeping the pelvis as still as possible. You are welcome to take that leg and move it as far or as little as you can, as you need to make your trunk muscles work. We'll feel those side muscles. Let's make some circles on the ceiling, like we're stirring the top of that hip in its socket. Reach those toes, reach those fingers up, and let's circle the other way. We could challenge it further by hovering that other foot up just slightly off the floor. One more circle this direction. Pause at the top, lower that hovered leg to the floor. We'll take that opposite leg, we're gonna pull it in, and let's switch them up. Other knee pulls in, stretch out that leg we just had extended to the ceiling, and we'll lengthen that opposite leg up to the ceiling, tightening through that knee. Feel the back of the leg from that knee to the sit bone, opening up. We can add to it again by flexing and pointing. Point those toes to the ceiling, hold them right there. We draw the belly down, float those arms to the ceiling, and as we anchor our shoulder blades down, we also picture that pelvis fixing itself into the mat. Let's take that lifted leg side to side. Keep that rest of the body nice and still. Feel those side muscles working in the front of the trunk as we take that leg to each side. One more time, side to side. We can move to circles. Maybe again, we hover that supporting leg up off the floor to make those abdominals do a little more work for us. Pause at the top, breathing in. Circle the other way. It's okay if that leg doesn't hover. I know we're working hard no matter what. Last two. And last one, reach those toes up. We're gonna take that hovered leg rested on the mat, bring those hands right behind that lifted thigh again. We're gonna roll our shoulders back, reset the belly to spine. Maybe we nod and curl that upper body up a bit. That's up to you. Let's move our legs through that single straight leg stretch. Other leg comes up to meet that lifted one, switch the grip and float that opposite leg toward the floor. Keep it hovered, heel never touches. We're gonna switch and move from side to side. If we do need a little bend in the knee to take some slack back into the system, that's perfectly fine. Try to keep those legs bent at the same angle through the knee as we move through. Take it side to side. Here's 4, switch for 3, switch for 2, and switch for 1. Hanging on behind those thighs, we'll bring our shins back to that tabletop position, curl the upper body down if it's been lifted, and let's pull those knees in and rock the body side to side. Nice work. Big breath in, big breath out. Come back to the middle. Let's hang on to our knees. We're going to stir those hips in their socket a little bit. To massage that low back against the floor. Let those hip flexors take a little breather. We're going to bring those knees back to tabletop now. With that belly drawn down, we'll take our hands down to the mat and straighten those knees as best you can up to the ceiling. We're trying to keep those thighs vertical, and as we're getting as close as we can to an L between the legs and that trunk. We're going to take our feet, we're going to move them in circles in opposite directions of each other. Let's draw those circles on the ceiling. Try to keep that pelvis nice and still. If you'd like to take your hands and bring them to your trunk surrounding that belly button, we can monitor making sure that navel's drawn down. Let's circle the other way. Draw them on the ceiling. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take those knees back to tabletop. We'll take our arms to the ceiling. Big breath in, and as we breathe out, that arm closest to the screen is going to open up back overhead. Opposite leg stretches out forward toward the wall. Switch it through for nice long diagonals. Move through tabletop. Arms come and pass through vertical as we go. And we're taking that hand that's overhead as far away from our outstretched foot as we can get it. Maybe we nod the chin and lift that upper body to the final 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Arms to the ceiling, knees to tabletop. Curl that upper body down if it's been lifted. And we're going to flex our feet. Just let them do something other than point. They might need a change of position there. We'll anchor those blades down. And we're going to take the foot closest to the screen, lower that heel to the floor, and lift it back up. Lower the opposite heel to the floor. Lift it back up. Both heels come down to the floor. Keep that belly drawn down. Inhale, knees to tabletop. Let's repeat. One heel down and lift. Opposite heel down and lift. Both heels down, both heels up. Let's rock through that sequence one more time. One comes down and lifts. Other comes down and lifts. Both heels come down. Both heels come up. Big breath in. As we exhale now, the arms are going to come back overhead as the heels come to the floor. Inhale, bring everything back up to our starting position. Tabletop, arms to the ceiling. Repeat. Feet forward, arms back. Inhale, up. Feet forward, arms back. Inhale, up. Here's 4. And 3. Last 2. And last one. We're going to take our feet all the way to the floor. Heels are going to line up with those sit bones. We can wiggle that tush around a little bit, get comfortable. We're going to take our toes down to the floor. So the heels, the big toe, and those pinkies are in contact with the mat. Let's reach those arms back overhead as far as they'll go. We're going to keep those elbows straight. Let's draw that chin down, that breastbone down, and that belly down toward the spine. Arc the arms up to the ceiling, and we'll place them down by our sides in preparation for bridging. We're going to press our shoulder blades to the floor, inch those heels a little closer to our bottom. Big breath in. As we exhale, drive those heels through the floor, and we're going to lift our glutes up. We want to lift up to the point of that first bit of resistance that we feel, either through the front of the thighs, getting a little stretch, or just simply feeling like we can't lift those butt muscles up any higher. Hold it at the top for an inhale. Exhale, lengthen back down to the mat. Let's repeat. We're going to keep pressing our heels through the floor. We'll lower the bottom down. Up and down. Here's 4. Here's 3. Try to tap into the length through the front of the thighs as we lift up and down. Here's 2. Here's 1. We're going to hold that final bridge up at the top, keeping the whole foot on the floor, including that big toe. We're going to open the knee closest to the screen out to the side, sweep it back to the center, and the other knee comes out and back to the center. Let's continue to take them side to side. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees out, both knees in. Out to the side. Keep those toes pressed into the mat. Take them back to the center. Knees to the side, knees to the center. Keep it up. Here's 4. Keep those hips lifted. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Knees to the center. Big breath in. Exhale, bridge it down. Release the glutes at the bottom of the motion. And let's rock those knees side to side, giving the lower half of the body a chance to recover. Take a couple breaths while we're here. Inhale. And breathe it out. Take it right back to the middle. Breathe it in. As we exhale, we'll reset that belly to the spine. Drive those heels to the floor. Let's lift back up. Keeping those hips squeezed, those glutes squeezed and hips to the ceiling. We're going to go up and down on our toes. Lift the heels. Keep those hips lifted. Lower the heels down. Lift the heels and lower. Take those heels up and down. Here's 4, 3, 2. Keep it going. Last one, press those heels down. We're going to finish our bridges with marches. One knee comes up and down, and then the other. If you tend to cramp through the back of the thighs as you do these, lift your toes, drive the heel firmly into the floor. Flexing that foot seems to keep it more in the bottom, less in those hamstrings. Alternate here. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to press those heels down. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to bridge ourselves down, releasing those glutes when we get to the bottom of our motion. Let's take our knees side to side for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Take those knees back to the ceiling. We're going to arc our arms up to the ceiling and back to the wall behind us, hovering those hands off the floor. Take them back as far as you can with straight elbows. And again, we're going to nod the chin toward the neck. Drop that breastbone in the middle back to the floor. Keep that belly drawn down. And let's see if we can straighten our legs. Do the best you can with this. We want to feel like that lumbar spine supported. So if you feel like you're not able to straighten the legs without the belly really popping up, please feel free to bend them a bit. Get some slack into the system. Whether those knees are bent or straight, we're going to lift and lower one leg, then lift and lower the other. Let's alternate here, keeping that belly down and that pelvis nice and still and facing the ceiling. Alternate here, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in. Exhale, let's bring those arms to the ceiling. We'll bend up our knees, and we're going to turn over to hands and knees. If you'd like to have a little more padding under your knees, you're welcome to fold that mat up, or if you have a little towel roll, you could grab that now or a cushion and place it under your knees. We're going to settle ourselves up on hands and knees, wrists and shoulders, knees and hips lined up. And with that belly drawn in, let's rock the bottom back to the heels. Sit bones to heels, and then come up to that upright position. Rock it back, take it up. 2 more times, rock it back, heels to bottom, take it up. Last time, rock it back, take it back up to hands and knees, cat and cow, curl to cat, excuse me, uncurl to cow. 1 more here, curl to cat, uncurl to cow. Take it back to neutral, wag the tail side to side, and we're gonna pause with that hip closest to the screen, curled up to the same side shoulder. Let's look over that shoulder. Look and see if you can locate your foot. We're gonna take that other foot, cross it over. We're gonna hang on to that crossover foot and gently encourage it toward our shoulder. You're gonna feel your waistline open up and stretch on the side you're moving away from. Let's take a big breath in here. Exhale, uncross, and let's switch it up. Opposite foot crosses over. Bring that other hip to the other shoulder. And let's grab onto that foot. We'll give it a nice gentle encouragement toward our shoulder, feeling that waistline open up on the side that's facing our screen. Big breath in. Exhale, let's unwind, come back to hands and knees. And with that belly drawn in, let's squeeze the blades together behind the back and then press them toward the floor. Like a little mini shoulder blade push-up. Squeeze and press, squeeze and press. Keep that going here for 4, for 3, for 2. And for 1 single arm, if you're not comfortable weight bearing on one side, we keep both hands down. We're going to do another set of 4 on each side. Shoulders stay squared off to the floor. And again, we squeeze and press through the side bearing weight. Here's 3. Until your side's working. Here's 2. Here's 1. Switch them up. Opposite hand comes down. Take that other hand up to your thigh. And again, we'll squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. 2 more here. And last 1. Let's come back to all 4s. Shake out your wrists if you need it. We're going to move on. We're going to take that leg closest to the screen, stretch it back behind the body, and take that opposite arm out in front for a long diagonal, just like we did on our backs. This time we're working the opposite muscle groups. Switch it up, keeping that trunk as still as you can. Leg back, opposite arm forward. Switch. And reach. Switch. And reach. 1 more time to each side. We'll switch and reach. Last one, switch and reach. Hold that leg where it is. We're going to switch our arms. Take that second hand down. If it's not working out for you, stick and hold that diagonal. Otherwise, we switch and we reach our same side arm and leg up with the goal of keeping those shoulders as square to the floor as we can. Let's shift to our other side. Shift away from that screen. Reach the leg back and the arm forward. Shift and lift again. Reach. Shift and lift. We're going to do 1 more on each side and then we'll move on. Shift and reach. And shift and reach. Nice work. Let's take ourselves back to hands and knees, cat and cow, curling and release. 1 more time, curl it up, release. Let's take it back to hands and knees. We're going to bring our forearms down to the mat. Hold it here. If your head's not comfortable in this position, feel free to double those fists up and place your forehead on your hands for some support. We're going to keep our knees bent for this series. We're going to take that leg closest to the screen, press it up to the ceiling, bring it down to the mat. Press it up, bring it down, press, bring it down, press, bring it down. Fire hydrant lift, same side, knee stays bent. We're going to open that leg to the side, bring it back down toward the mat. Press it to the side, feel that forearm working to stabilize you. Bring it down. Last 2. Last one, out to the side, back to the middle. Let's press that bent knee to the ceiling. Hamstring curl, straighten and bend. Straighten it out, heel to the bottom. 2 more here. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Flex that foot. We're going to pulse to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee down. I'm going to shift a little closer to my screen so I don't run out of room, and we'll switch it on the other side. All right. Again, if you decide you need to double your fists over and support your head, you're welcome to. We're going to take that opposite knee, bring it to the ceiling, float it back to the mat. Press and lower. We're trying to keep everything quiet except for that hip and that glute on the side of the moving leg. Last 2. Last one. Take that knee down, fire hydrant lift. Knee comes out to the side, back to the center. Open, press your forearms into the mat. Bring the knee down. Last 2. Last one. Take it down, bring that knee back up to hip height. Straighten and bend the knees, hamstring curls. Bend the heel to the bottom. Straighten out. 2 more here. All right, bend that knee, flexing the foot, pulse to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee down. We're going to take our feet together and our knees apart. Bring that bottom down toward the heels. Walk your hands toward the front of the mat. Gently lower that forehead down toward the floor. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. Maybe your elbows are straight, maybe they're bent. You find what's working for you. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to walk our hands to the side of our mat closest to that screen. Take a big breath in, feeling the opposite side of your rib cage open up. Exhale, let's walk those hands to the other side. Hand over hand, big breath in. Inhale into the opposite side of the rib cage. Exhale. Walk those hands to the front of the mat for one more big breath in that child's pose. And as we exhale, we're going to come up to a sitting position. Staying lengthwise on our mat. Heels are going to line up with our sit bones, and we're going to be up as vertically aligned as we can. Hold here. Fingertips are going to be right at the front of the shins, very top of the shins, and the elbows are nice and soft, like we're holding a round beach ball. Try to keep that chin knotted toward the neck so we get the back of the neck nice and long. We're going to flex our feet, angling the body back just slightly, and then walk your heels a little closer to your bottom. That'll let you angle back a little bit more. You want to go to the point where you feel like you're not straining your back, but you do feel some work through that trunk. If you're not feeling much yet at that angle, let's take our hands away from the thighs. We're going to keep those arms up parallel to the ground, reaching the fingertips forward and dropping those blades to the floor. You should feel a little bit of work through that core. We're going to open up those arms just a touch more and rock those knees side to side. Knees come toward the screen and away. Toward the screen and away. Last 2. Move them away. Last one, toward the screen. Move them away. Let's come back to the middle. We're going to take our hands right to the outsides of our thighs. Press the hands and the thighs toward each other. That'll let you use your pelvis to help support that trunk a bit more. Hold it there. Inhale. As we exhale, that belly stays in. We're going to open up the arm closest to the screen, out to the side. Feel that opposite side of your trunk working to hold you still. Breathe in, arm comes to the center. Opposite arm comes out as we exhale. Take that arm out as far as you can. I can't move it out any farther without hitting my wall. I would love to have it all the way back behind me. Take it back to the center. Let's open out to the side. Take it to the middle. One more time. Opposite arm opens out. Take it back to the middle. We'll grab onto those shins. Let's come up nice and tall. Let's move through a little seated cat-cow. Curl that back, curl that pelvis a little bit. For 3, for 2, and for 1. We're going to come up into a long sit position, right up over those sit bones. Knees can be bent as much as you need to be up and vertical. And those feet will be out at each of the outside borders of your mat. You could flex or point the feet, whatever you prefer, just keep them active. Arms are going to come up in that same narrow V that the legs are in. And with that belly drawn in, let's hinge toward our toes. Find that first stretch point. And let's bring our hands down to rest on our legs wherever they rest. Maybe the toes, maybe the shins, maybe those knees. Let's sweep those arms toward the leg closest to our screen. We're going to open that other arm out to the side. And then let's sweep it to the other leg. Hang out there, open that arm. Sweep back to the foot. One more sweep to each side, open. Bring it back to the leg. Sweep it around. Last time to the other side, open it up. Take those hands back to the feet. We're going to come up nice and tall. Let's bring our feet in hip width apart. We're going to line our heels up with our sit bones, and let's take our hands to the mat behind the body. Assess how much wrist mobility you're feeling right now. Those fingertips could be pointed toward the toes or out to the sides if you do need a little more room to move through those arms. We're going to straighten out our elbows and squeeze those blades together. If you need to bring your bottom a little closer to your hands to accommodate for any tightness in the front of the chest, you're welcome to do so. If you have a little more slack that you could take out of the system, we can inch that bottom forward a bit. Again, though, we want to don't inch forward at the expense of keeping those elbows straight or those blades squeezed. Let's hold. Let's send our breastbone up toward the wall in front of us and maybe even up a little bit closer to the ceiling. Feet, knees, and hips are equal distance apart from each other. We're going to close our position here with 3 deep breaths, either the bottom staying down on the floor, or we could lift that bottom up to reverse tabletop. You pick your position. Big breath in. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale. One last time. Big breath in. Exhale. Let's slowly bring that bottom down. Shake those wrists out as we move up into a tall kneeling position. We're going to stand up nice and tall on those knees. Squeeze those glutes just a touch to get that bottom aligned with your middle back. We're going to try to avoid being too far hunched forward. Hold nice and still. Let's take those hands to the ceiling, drop those blades down, and we're going to take some side bends. Over to one side, up and over to the other. Side to side. Here's 4. Wait for 3, 2, and 1. Let's come right back up to the middle. Arms come forward. We're going to lean back just slightly, open up one arm out to the side, take it back to the center, and open the other arm. Take it back to the center. One more time to each. Open and shut. Open and shut. Let's come up nice and tall. We're going to bring our hands down, take one leg out to the side, dropping that hip toward the floor. We're going to take a big breath in, hinge forward, take it up. Hinge it forward, take it up. One more time, hinge and lift. Arms come out, big breath in, exhale, side bend. Inhale up and over. One more time, side bend and reach. Take it up and over. Let's come up nice and tall. Hands come right back to the hips, and we're going to switch it up. Take that leg out to the side. We're going to drop the hip. Feel that inner thigh stretch out, and we're going to hinge. Take it up tall. Hinge it forward. Take it up. One last time. Hinge it forward. Take it up. Arms come out. Big breath in. Exhale, side bend. Inhale up and over. Exhale, side bend. Inhale up and over. One last time. Side bend and reach. Take it up and over. We're going to come back up to that kneeling and roll those shoulders back for 3, 2, and 1. Let's come down onto our sides. We're going to rest down there with our knees bent, heels lined up with the bottom. Lift that waistline up from the floor if we can. We're going to keep our hand right on that top hip, and that top knee is going to lift up and down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down, feet lift up and down for 4, for 3, for 2. Hold them up there. Top knee lifts up and down for 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees and feet come down. Fire hydrant lift. Top knee comes up. Top knee comes down. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Bring it down. Top hand comes to the floor. Press it into the mat and lift the knees. Knees up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Straighten out those legs. Top leg comes to hip height. Let's pulse it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bottom leg comes up. Bottom leg comes down. Keep it moving. Last 5. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring them down. Bend up those knees. Tap that hip out. Nice work. Let's take it up and over to the other side. Home stretch, guys. We'll bend up those knees. Line the heels up with the bottom. Hand comes to the hip. Top knee comes up and down. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down, feet lift up and down for 4, 3, 2. Hold them up there, feet together, top knee up and down for 4, 3, 2. and 1. Knees and feet come down. Fire hydrant lifts up and down with that top leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top hand to the mat. Knees come up and down together for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them down. Straighten those legs out. Top leg to hip height or just above. Pulse it up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that top leg just above hip height. Bottom leg comes up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them down. Bend those knees. Pat that hip out. Let's roll to our backs. Bend up those knees, lining up our heels with our sit bones. All right, let's rock 12 to 6 on that pelvic clock. Release that pelvis, release that low back. Let those glutes take a breather. Let's rock that pelvis from 3 to 9, side to side. Take it back to the middle. Let's cross one leg over the other, heel to the knee. We can pull that other knee into the chest. Taking a big breath in. Exhale. Let's unwind, cross that opposite heel to the knee. Pulling the other knee into the chest for a big breath in. Breathe it out. Let's unwind those legs, give them one final hug into the chest. We'll bring our feet down to the floor. Let's turn ourselves over to hands and knees. All right, in preparation for standing up, let's get that core working again. We're gonna curl to cat, reverse to cow. One last time, curl to cat, reverse to cow. Take it back to neutral, turn those toes under. We're gonna push our weight back toward our feet. And once we have our center of gravity right over the front of those ankles as a nice stable base of support, let's make our way up into standing. We'll finish with balancing. As always, if you do need something to hold on to, find something stable, your wall, a sofa, a chair, whatever works best for you. We're gonna line up our feet with our hips, get our weight center to get over the front of that ankle joint. And let's lift our toes up. Feel those arches lift as we do. Spread those toes apart. We're gonna take them down one at a time, starting with that pinky, finishing with the big toe. Tap those toes on the floor like you're drumming your fingertips on a coffee table. We'll press them down. And let's shift our weight forward toward the toes, okay? You'll feel your muscles in your core tighten up just a little bit as the weight shifts forward. If you'd like to have something to hold on to, go find it now. Hover those heels up off the floor. We're gonna take ourselves up and down, raise up and down on those heels for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet come down. Let's stand heel to toe. Like you're about to walk a tightrope. We're gonna hold here. Eyes open or closed. We're gonna hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch those feet. Find that standing position. Eyes open or closed. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift that front foot up if you can. Find that single leg balance. We'll hold here. Eyes open or closed. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's step it down to our other side. Last one here. Hold your balance. Eyes open or shut. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take those feet down. Shake out those knees. We'll bring our feet a little wider than our shoulders. Let's roll those shoulders back, soften up those knees, keep that crown of the head reaching toward the ceiling. We'll close with a big breath in. Bringing those palms up and together, fingertips reaching to the ceiling. Take one more inhale. Exhale, and let's draw our hands to our center and bring those feet together. Nice work, guys. Happy Friday.